we're continuing with Genesis 24. Isaac and Rebekah. Abraham was now very old. He's very old now. And the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to his servant, "Put your hand under my thigh. I want you to swear by the Lord, that's God, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, but will go to my country and my own relatives." I think he's just talking about his people, he wants, but not because he's racist, because, I hate to sound judgmental, but he wants like a nicer, more God-fearing woman as a wife for his son. The servant asked him, "What if the woman is unwilling to come back with me to this land? Like she doesn't want to live here. Shall I then take your son back to the country you came from? Shall I move him there?" "Make sure that you do not take my son back there," Abraham said. "The Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household and my native land, and who spoke to me and promised me on oath, saying, 'To your offspring I will give this land.' He will send his angel before you, so that you can get a wife for my son from there. So if the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there." So the servant went, and he took with him 10 camels with many good things loaded on them. And he set out for Aram Naharaim, and made his way to the town of Nahor. Remember that we did see mention of the town of Nahor. So his relatives lived there, but I think they built that town. There's this song called "Built This City on Rock and Roll." I think his relatives built that town, and then of course other people moved in. He had the camels kneel near a well when he got there, and it was toward evening, and that's when the women go to the well to draw water. Then Abraham's servant prayed to God, "Lord, God of my master Abraham, make me successful today. May it be when I say to a young woman, 'Please let down your jar that I may have a drink,' and she says, 'Drink, and I'll water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master.'" Before Abraham's servant had finished praying, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was a daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The woman was very, very beautiful. No man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. The servant hurried to meet her and said, "Hello there, young lady." I remember he talked to God, the creator of all, the Lord. So he just said to her, "Give me a drink, a little water from your jar." And she said, "Drink, my lord." and quickly lowered the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, "I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have had enough to drink." So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the well to draw more water, and drew enough for all his camels. All his camels? That's 10 camels. So, she could not have done it herself. She must have had people with her. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. He wanted to be absolutely sure. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took out a gold nose ring, weighing a Rebekah. Let's see what a Rebekah means. Look at these notes at the bottom of the page. A Rebekah is 1/5 ounce. And took out a nose ring, and then a nose ring. So he took out a gold nose ring. And it's made of gold, and 2 gold bracelets weighing 10 shekels. And then he asked, "Whose daughter are you?" "Is there room in your father's house for us?" So Abraham's servant had people with him too. I have to stop there. We live in a, normal, normally, I would think, that's kind of fast. What are you saying to the young lady? So once again, I think a long time ago, customs were different. Maybe they're more like arranged marriages, and if a young lady is a certain age, she knows that she's going to be married off, married to someone soon, and then she has suitors, But if a suitor sends like a representative, like Abraham's servant is, he's someone, So she answered him, "I am the daughter of Bethuel, and we have plenty of straw for your camels, and as well as a room for you to spend the night." So, I think that he wanted to talk to her father. Then Abraham's servant bowed down, worshiped the Lord, saying, "Praise be to the Lord." That's Jesus, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my master's relatives. The young woman ran and told her mother's household about these things. Now Rebekah had a brother named Laban or Laban, and he hurried out to the man at the spring. So Laban met Abraham's servant, as soon as he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms, and had heard Rebekah tell what the man said to her, he went out to the man and found him standing by the camels near the spring. "Come, you who are blessed by the Lord, you rich guy, why are you standing out here? I have prepared the house and a place for the camels." So there's the brother, so it's proper. I think it's fine. So the man went to the house, and the camels were unloaded. Straw and fodder were brought for the camels, and water for him and his men to wash their feet. Then food was set before him, but he said, "I will not eat until I have told you what I have to say." "Then tell us," Laban said. "I am Abraham's servant." Have you heard of Abraham? "The Lord has blessed him, and he is wealthy. He has many sheep and cattle, silver and gold, many people, camels and donkeys. And his wife Sarah bore him a son in her old age, and he has given his son Isaac everything he owns." And then, that means he doesn't have a brother. I mean, he has Ishmael as a brother, but Ishmael has another destiny, another promise from God. "And my master made me swear an oath and said, 'You must not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites.' Then I asked my master, 'What if the woman will not come back with me?' He replied, 'The Lord, before whom I have walked faithfully, will send his angel with you and make your journey a success, so that you can get a wife for my son from my own clan and from my father's family. You will be released from my oath if, when you go to my clan, they refuse to give her to you.' And in verse 42, Abraham's servant tells Rebekah's brother, when he prayed, he needed a confirmation. He asked the Lord, if these things happen, then I know that she is the one. So he told Rebekah's brother Laban what he said, and it keeps going through to verse 48, and then Abraham's servant says, "Now if you will show kindness and faithfulness to my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, so I may know which way to turn." So Laban and his father Bethuel answered, "This is from the Lord. We can say nothing to you one way or the other. Here is Rebekah. Take her and go. Let her become the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has directed." So Abraham's servant heard what they said. He bowed down to the ground before the Lord, to the Lord. And then gold and silver jewelry and articles of clothing were given to Rebekah, and he also gave gifts, expensive ones, to her brother and to her mother. Then they continued to eat, Abraham's servant and the other people with him, and drink, and they spent the night there. When they got up the next morning, he said, "Send me on my way to my master." Rebekah's brother and mother replied, "Let the young woman remain with us 10 days, then you may go." But he said to them, "Do not detain me. Now that the Lord has granted success to my journey, send me on my way so I may go to my master." Then they said, "Let's call the young woman and ask her about it. Will you go with this man?" "I will go," Rebekah said. So they sent their sister, Rebekah, on her way along with her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, "Our sister, may you increase to thousands upon thousands. May your offspring possess the cities of their enemies." Then Rebekah and her attendants got ready and mounted the camels and went back with the man. Now Isaac, that's Abraham's son, had come from Bir Lahai-roi. Remember, that's the place where Hagar was crying, and the angel of the Lord spoke to her. He went out to the field one evening to meditate, and as he looked up, he saw camels approaching. So what is meditate? The meaning of the Hebrew for this word is uncertain. I think meditating is just being quiet and trying to listen to what God is trying to tell you. Rebekah also looked up and saw Isaac. She got down from her camel and asked the servant, Abraham's servant, "Who is that man in the field coming to meet us?" "He is my master," the servant answered. So she took her veil and covered herself. Then the servant told Isaac all he had done. Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah. So, he took her home and to meet his mom, and he married Rebekah. So she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So I think she was still alive. I guess the Bible is written not exactly in chronological order. You might disagree with me. I think Isaac's mother Sarah did not pass away until Isaac and Rebekah were married. Thank you for listening. Remember, put God first. Take your place.